Anthony Clark, Informative Speech, Battle of Bunker Hill. The Battle of Bunker Hill was only the beginning of the Revolutionary War. It showed that the Revolutionary War was going to be a lengthy and long-lasting war that would not end without difficulty. Battle of Bunker Hill, when most people hear the words, they think of a battle that took place on or over the 110-foot tall Bunker Hill. But actually, the battle was not fought on Bunker Hill. It took place on Breed's Hill. Battle of Bunker Hill was the first great battle of the Revolutionary War. The battle took place on the night of June 16, 1775, near Boston on the Charleston Peninsula. This was the night the Americans were forced away from Breed's Hill to Bunker Hill because of their short supply of gun ammunition. After researching Battle of Bunker Hill, I feel as if I gained knowledge that has helped me better understand what all took place on the summer night of 1775. The information I give will hopefully give you an insight on the battle and what all took place. Battle of Bunker Hill was only the beginning of the Revolutionary War, and it showed that the Revolutionary War was going to be a long and long-lasting war that would not end without difficulty. As defined in Digital History Overview of the American Revolution, the American Revolution was the first modern revolution and can be traced back to 1773. It was a time in history when independence was important to the people and fought for what they believed in. They fought in the name of certain constitutional rights, rule of law, and popular sovereignty. This is the time when the leaders of the British began to tighten imposing reins. Tightening imposing reins only caused conflict between the colonies and Britain. Because of Britain bringing in British troops as well as having a land policy on settlement in the West, this was only the first of the conflicts the Americans would have with the British. The Battle of Bunker Hill was the first major battle in the Revolutionary War. According to American history, Battle of Bunker Hill, American leaders learned that the British troops were planning to occupy the hills surrounding Boston. Some 1,000 colonial militiamen under the leadership of Colonel William Prescott built earthen fortifications on top of Breed's Hill, despite being told to build on top of Bunker Hill. They chose Breed's Hill because it was the smaller of the two hills. On June 17, 1775, some 2,200 British troops landed on the Charleston Peninsula, then proceeded to march to the top of Breed's Hill. According to Dictionary of American History, around daybreak on June 1775, British warships anchored down in Boston Harbor and began opening an ineffective fire on the colonial forces. Colonel Prescott decided to strengthen his left flank in order that a rail fence stuffed with hay and a line be manned with 2,000 men under General Israel Putnam. The British, under the leadership of Major General William Howe, landed on Charleston Beach along with General Robert Pilot and led an attack on the Americans at the rail fence, which ended in a bloody outcome. Two failed attempts later, Howe commanded to go against the rail fence and attack with bayonets. After 2 hours of battle, the Americans retreated. Although the British were victorious, they had 1,054 that suffered injuries and that had died during the battle, while the Americans only suffered 441 injuries and deaths. The costly price of victory at the Battle of Bunker Hill made the British recognize and understand that the war with the colonies would be long, difficult, and pricey. The Battle of Bunker Hill was only the beginning of the Revolutionary War, and it showed that the Revolution was going to be a lengthy and long-lasting war that would not end without difficulty. On Breed's Hill in 1843, a 221-foot tall granite obelisk was erected as a monument to the Battle of Bunker Hill. The monument was placed on the hill where most of the fighting during the battle took place.